Shalom to the hopefully elect of Yasha Allah, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Qurash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well, who teach well. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim pushing this truth through the formats of the earth, working up the hope for the elect. Shalom to the Akwa for our listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming into another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. And this is a video called Babylon USA Official Full Film. So Lord's witness be edifying.
You all look great. The end of the Republic has never looked better.
And it is the end of Esau Edom Kingdom. Esau is the end of this world. Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
Folks, there is a new world order that's being created.
We need a new global financial order. I urge the international community to embrace its responsibility for creating that new world order. A new world order based upon collective action.
When our founders declared a new order of the ages, they were acting on an ancient hope that is meant to be fulfilled.
There is a chance for the President of the United States to use this disaster to carry out what his father, a phrase his father used, I think, only once, and hasn't been used since, and that is a new world order.
Where are we as we think about this time in American foreign policy? Are we at a special moment which is being redefined? Or are we creating a new world order?
We're seeing a new world order now being built. A post-World War II world order. But I don't think America can retreat from that. I think we have to balance and adapt and adjust to the realities and the currents of this new world order. We meet here at a moment of testing for Europe and the United States, and for the international order that we have worked for generations to build. You're about to graduate into a complex and orderless world. So I think that everything that we've lived and learned tells us that we will never come out on top if we accept advice from soundbite salesmen and carnival barkers who pretend the most powerful country on earth can remain great by looking inward and hiding behind walls at a time that technology has made that impossible to do and unwise to even attempt. Because this university is blessed with a global vision, and so are you, its graduates now.
I believe we, and particularly you, your class, has an incredible window of opportunity to lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century.
What is the New World Order? Well, when we talk about the New World Order, what we're talking about is a one world government, a one world religion, and a one world financial system. Now, the reason why people refer to this as the New World Order is because if we think about it, the current world order, meaning the way things are in the world right now, is that we have separate nations, don't we? We have about 200 separate nations that are sovereign. They have power over their own affairs. They're not all united under one government. And when we think about the current religious state, we have a multitude of religions in this world. We have Christianity and all of its various facets and denominations, but we also have religions like Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and these religions are definitely not united. They're separate religions. That's the current order of things. Not only that, but we have different financial systems. Here we use the dollar. If we went to Mexico, we're using pesos. If we go to Canada, we're going to be on a different dollar, a Canadian dollar. All over the world, there are all these different currencies. So when we talk about the New World Order, we're talking about a world in which there's one government, where there's one religion and one financial system.
What does New World Order mean, and what does it mean for the future? It means new responsibilities to keep the peace, because there's only one superpower left.
Of the many reasons given for going to war in the Persian Gulf, one rings out for its soaring if vague ideas.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States!
President Bush calls it the New World Order. What is at stake is more in one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind. With few exceptions, the world now stands as one. The world can therefore seize this opportunity to fulfill the long-held promise of the New World Order. We can find meaning and reward by serving some higher purpose than ourselves. A shining purpose, the illumination of 1,000 points of light. President Bush's New World Order is very much an evolving idea. He may be keeping it vague deliberately. In any case, it is easier to invoke than it is to explain or to implement.
Obviously, they aren't talking about globalization. They're talking about the merging of nations and of continents under an economic system, under a military system, and a governmental system, all of which, of course, the elite would control for their own purposes.
And that's the Rothschild.
The president first spoke of a New World Order amid the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe, the revolutions of 1989. But critics observe it is more than just the absence of the Cold War. It is building new institutions to manage crisis and change.
If you look at the speech that George Bush made in context, where he talks about a New World Order, he's referring to a world where the United States is the one superpower. You see, there used to be two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. But when the Soviet Union fell, you're left with one superpower in the world, the United States. And when the global
Which is Babylon the
elites,
Great.
like, George W. Bush or Bill Clinton or any of these people use the term New World Order, that's what they're referring to. That's what they mean by it.
In the wake of the Cold War, in a world where we are the only remaining superpower, it is the role of the United States to marshal its moral and material resources to promote a democratic peace. It is our responsibility. It is our opportunity to lead. There's no one else. Today, America is the undisputed superpower. We have climbed a high mountain over these last 200 years to attain that responsibility of being the world's only superpower.
Lord,
There's
will
no
this
doubt
be
about it that
edifying?
today, America is number one militarily, economically, scientifically, technologically.
We are the one superpower in the world today. Everybody acknowledges that.
And it's
Everybody.
Babylon the
That's
Great,
not
North
controversy.
America.
I think it is accurate to say that the outcome of the Gulf War has confirmed that the United States is the sole remaining superpower in the world.
We are, whether we like it or not in our life, the only superpower in the world.
North America,
We are
Babylon the
the only
Great.
true superpower in the world.
As the world's only superpower, the United States has unique responsibilities that we gladly embrace. Our military has no peer. The odds of a direct threat against us by any nation are low.
We spend more money on our military than the next 10 countries put together.
It will
Same
be
thing the Roman Empire
your
did.
generation's task to respond to this new world. It is America that the world looks to for help. The question each of you will face is not whether America will lead, but how we will lead. Not just to secure our peace and prosperity, but also extend peace and prosperity around the globe.
For the first time in history, we have seen a movement, a political and social movement that is truly global in nature. So it's not just a new order, it's a new world order. And in that sense, it's quite accurate, because this is new in history.
When we emerge from this war, we will be the only superpower on earth. No nation since the Roman Empire will have been so dominant in the world.
Did you hear that?
As we will be.
Since the Roman Empire.
If you look at the wars that we're in, 134 wars that we're involved in, that this country has made a decision to attempt to imperialize and deconstruct other countries, destabilize other countries, we can see that we're a country of war now. Why? It's called resources. It's called money. It's called greed. It's called all the things that they want to have.
All wars are banking wars.
To have. And it appears to me that if there were anything that I could look at that would show that there is a new world order, is the entanglements that the United States military is involved in from a globalist view that is killing people, destroying countries with no conscience whatsoever.
No conscience.
I'm going to show you today how the Bible actually prophesies that one day there will be a one world government, a one world religion, and a one world financial system.
There is no doubt that Scripture warns of a new world order. There is no doubt about that.
Now, the Bible tells us to prove all things. So in order for me to get up here and make this kind of a claim that the Bible predicts that there's going to be this new world order, then I should be able to show you these things in the Bible. And the place where all three of these elements are found is right here in Revelation 13. So look down at your Bible, and first of all, in verse 7, I'm going to show you one world government in the Bible. In Revelation 13:7, speaking of the Antichrist, it says, "And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them."
And power was given him over all kindreds. Now, kindreds is talking about the different families of the earth,
which is Israel, Israelites.
Next of kin. And then he says, and tongues, which the word tongue is just talking about languages, and nations. So there we see a one world power, a one world government, where one man, one system is given power over all kindreds and tongues and nations. That is the Bible outlining for us the coming one world government.
Look down at verse number 8, and you'll see the one world religion. It says in verse 8, "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him." So we see all people in the earth.
Which
we
is
see
Esau,
people who are living
so-called
in
white
India,
man.
that
The
today are
elites,
Hindus.
the
People who are
Rothschilds.
living in the Middle East, that today would be Islamic. People living in Western countries who call themselves Christians or Catholic or whatever they call themselves. We see people from all over the world, all nations, all languages, worshiping this man and proclaiming him to be basically God in the flesh. So we're already seeing it today, even before this happens, where religions are starting to merge in a sense and talk about putting aside their differences. If you jump down to verse 16, you'll see the one world financial system. Look at Revelation 13:16. "He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Which is
and
charagma.
no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast
charagma,
or the number of
incision,
his name.
to be
Here is
inserted,
wisdom, let him
implanted.
that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666.
That man is Esau,
666
Edom,
is that number.
the red
It's
Hebrew
proverbial
Edomite.
666. And he says that no one on the planet, of any nation, any tongue, any people, he says no man will be allowed to buy or sell without this mark. Well, that proves that the whole financial system is going to be united to be able to enforce that one rule for everybody. Nobody can buy or sell.
You can't buy without his permission, so there's a financial control of the world. One world currency, probably electronic.
We already have paper dollars, which are worthless, except for the cost of the paper. Well, if it's electronic, now you can save the cost of the paper.
Psalm 64 and 8, man.
So there's going to be a political, a financial...
He just told you that money is worthless.
One world control of everybody.
That is different
That's the
than what we
elite.
have today. That
The
is
Rothschilds.
a world order. That is a one world financial
Psalm 64
system.
and 8.
So all three of these
Y'all
elements
make your own
are
tongue
right
and
here
fall
in
upon
Scripture.
themselves.
And there are people out there who, when you talk about the New World Order or things of this nature, they say, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Or you're some kind of a nut. You're paranoid." But wait a minute. Can you really be a Bible-believing Christian and just ignore Revelation 13 when it predicts that these exact things are going to come to pass?
And we are seeing it all come together rapidly now toward the fulfillment of this prophecy 2,000 years ago. Headed for a one-world government, a one-world religion, a one-world currency. It's just, and Satan's going to be the mastermind behind all of that.
Esau Edom telling you straight facts.
Now, in order to understand the New World Order, we have to understand the subject of Babylon in the Bible. Babylon is a place that's mentioned hundreds of times. And if we go all the way to the beginning, we actually go to a place that's just called Babel.
The name Babylon seems to come from the Tower of Babel. And we use the word Babel like he's a babbling idiot. You know, he's talking incoherently because that's where God confused the languages.
The Tower of Babel was the first attempt by evil men to usurp the authority of God and to become a godlike state unto themselves.
Tower of Babel is probably the first post-flood attempt at a one-world government. God said, spread out. Nimrod said, oh no, we're staying here. And God stepped in and broke it up by confusing the languages.
See, it's God's will that there be separate nations on this earth. It is not His will that there be a one-world government. That
Did you
all
hear
nations
that?
unite. So when you understand...
It's God's will to have a separate nation. Leviticus 20 and 26 say He have severed us from other people. Okay? He have cut us off. Okay, Deuteronomy 30:28 say, when He divided to the nations, when He separated the sons of Adam, He set the bounds according to the sons of Israel, man. He just told you. Esau Edom just told you the Lord is a separatist. He just told you that.
Understand that the Tower of Babel was the entire world united under a one-world government and a one-world religion. You really begin to see the spirit of Babylon as it goes through different empires in world history.
Now let's fast forward to the city of Babylon.
In Daniel chapter 2, the king had a dream, and he forgot the dream. And he called his wise guys in and said, whoa, tell me what this means. And they said, oh, tell us what you dreamed. And he said, I forgot the dream. Tell me what I dreamed and what it means. And they said, oh, king, that ain't fair. Nobody does that. And he said, I'm going to kill all of you. And so Daniel comes in to the rescue. God gives him the vision. So Daniel told the king what he dreamed and what it means, which is just real clear evidence. This is straight from God. He said, King, God has revealed it to me. This is what you dreamed, and here's what it means. You saw a giant image. The head was gold, the chest and arms of silver, the belly and thighs of brass, the legs of iron, the feet iron and clay mixed together. Then you saw a stone cut out without hands that smote the image on the feet, crumbled the whole thing to powder, and the wind blew it away. And that stone grew to become a giant mountain.
Which
And
is
the king said,
Yahweh's
that's
job.
right, that's exactly what I dreamed. What does this mean?
That means Yahweh shall
Daniel
destroy
said, King, God has just
these
shown you the
kingdoms.
future of the world.
Now, when we look at these sections of this image, the gold, the silver, the brass, and the iron, it is not a mystery what these four kingdoms are. Because first of all, God comes right out and tells us that Babylon is that head of gold.
The image of gold,
Which is
and
North
gold
America
king
today.
Nebuchadnezzar, you are the head of gold. I mean, we know the Bible tells us that was the first kingdom, the Babylonian kingdom.
So we know that the head of gold represents King Nebuchadnezzar and represents the Babylonian Empire, because these represent the kings, but they also represent the kingdoms. In verse number 39, he says this, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee. Now we know that other kingdom that came after Nebuchadnezzar was the Medo-Persian Empire. All throughout the book of Daniel, we're told about the Medes and the Persians, and we know that they were the ones that came into power after the nation of Babylon. And it's interesting because in the image there, the Medo-Persian Empire is represented by the breast and the two arms. And those two arms are kind of representing the fact that it's a two-part nation. It's the Medes and the Persians coming together.
And it's the kingdom that God said was inferior to the Babylonian Empire, the Medes and the Persians. Darius the Mede, Cyrus the Persian, that's what we're talking about.
In verse number 39, Daniel goes on and says, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Now, we know again from the book of Daniel that next kingdom was the empire of Greece. The Bible tells us about the king of Grecia and about the realm of Grecia, and it spells that out for us. And of course, historically, we know that the next world empire was that of Alexander the Great.
Alexander,
This is all facts.
was actually Alexander III of Macedon.
Alexander the Great conquered all of the known world by the time he was 30, 32 years old, just a young man.
Out of every culture that he conquered, he made it quite simple. You're going to do it the Greek way. You're going to learn Greek if you want to be educated. You're going to learn Aristotle's science and astronomy, and you're going to do it our way. And if you don't, well, then we'll just kill you.
In verse number 40, we're told of the fourth kingdom. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. So we're told that there's a fourth kingdom, and that fourth kingdom is represented by iron.
Now, the fourth kingdom is not explicitly named in the book of Daniel, but we know that it's Rome for several reasons. Number one, in Daniel chapter 9, verse 26, it talks about the prince that shall come, destroying Jerusalem, laying it waste, etc. And we know that Rome did that.
Bring it out, Esau.
We also know that Rome
And these
is that
Edomites was
kingdom
giving you straight
because
facts.
there's been a passing of the torch here in this passage where the Persians took over exactly where the Babylonians left off. Then Alexander the Great, with the Grecians, he defeated the Persians and picked up right where the Persians left off. Well, the question is, who picked up right where the Greeks left off with world empire, with global conquest? Obviously, the Roman Empire. That was that iron empire that broke in pieces and so forth. Jesus Christ came to this earth for the first time during that Roman Empire.
Yahweh Shah Hamashiach is his name.
Rome was the power. There was no threat to them. They were absolute power at that time.
So basically, if we were to kind of oversimplify things in a sense, though, basically the Persians defeat the Babylonians, the Greeks defeat the Persians, the Romans defeat the Greeks.
That's correct.
And that's the succession of kind of four great empires.
That is the four greatest empires that the world's ever known.
So
Wait for it.
In between
Here it
Daniel's
come.
time and the time of our Lord Jesus Christ, the geography changed multiple times. Wouldn't it make sense that over the last 2,000 years, it could have changed also?
I think that a lot of Christians, when they think about Babylon the Great, and they think about the old Roman Empire, in their minds, that's where it stops. They don't think about the spirit of Babylon
Exactly.
alive and well.
This is spiritually Babylon, Egypt, Sodom, and Rome. Okay? The spirit of Babylon, which is North America, man. North America is the spirit of Babylon.
The great whore is that spirit of Babylon, and the Bible says
Exactly.
that the whore sitteth upon many waters.
Right.
Then later in chapter 17, he says,
That great melting
waters
pot.
which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So this spirit of Babylon is not restricted to one geographic location, but the whore sits upon many waters. First, the power was centralized in Babylon, but then it's moved to Shushan. So if you were living in the days of Esther, if you're living in the days of Ezra and Nehemiah, you would see the center of globalist power not as being Babylon, but as being in Shushan, or as modern scholars call it, Susa. Obviously, Rome is a completely different geographic location than Babylon, but it's part of the same system, the same spirit, the same idea of Babylon is continued on. Now let's ask ourselves this question. Is Rome, Italy today ruling over the world?
Nope.
Is that really the seat of governance in this world?
Nope.
I don't think that the global government is based in Rome, Italy. Now, there are people out there who think the Catholic Church is running the world, and the Jesuits, and it's a big conspiracy. I personally don't believe that.
No.
I don't believe that they have the power that they used to have. They used to have that kind of power, didn't they? I mean, back in the Middle Ages, I mean, they would put the crown on somebody's head. And in fact, it was a great turning point in human history when Napoleon actually took the crown out of the Pope's hand. When the Pope came to crown him, he took it out of his hand and put it on his own head. Basically showing him, I'm in charge, not you. So the bottom line is, that was a decline in the power of the Catholic Church, and we continue to see a decline in their power and influence as far as global affairs go. So the question is then, where is Babylon today in the 21st century?
Here it comes. Wait for it.
The headquarters of the empire. There is no objective way to look at it and not come to the conclusion that it's Washington, D.C.
There it is.
This is the seat of global power. This is the seat of military might. And the United States of America today is the new Babylon. It's the new Roman Empire.
Yes, it
is
is.
the seat of globalist power.
Hey, Esau, Edom is bringing it out, man. The Lord said everything will be revealed, man. And these Edomites is bringing it out, man. Okay. Esau, Edom is telling you straight facts, man. Psalm 64 and 8. Look at that. Jumping, man. Them Edomites were jumping out the World Trade Center. They rather jump than burn, man. They will make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Edomites was jumping up the 95th floor, man. The 95th floor, they was jumping, man. But that was all the setup, man. See how that building going down? It disintegrated while it was going down, man. They already had it set up. And this is a very edifying video, man.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Look at that devil. Hey man, North America is Babylon the Great. It's the Roman Empire, man.
The attacks which were carried out yesterday against our country were more than acts of terror. They were acts of war. They will either succeed in changing our way of life, or we'll succeed in changing theirs. For states that support terror, it's not enough that the consequences be costly. They must be devastating.
All the setup. False flag attack.
Just the price of a gallon of gas. What we're doing is going to chart the future of the world for the next 100 years.
Our war on terror begins with Al-Qaeda, but it does not end there.
And I just want to show you how these Edomites know that North America, okay, which is it went to about the 25th minute of this video. These Edomites just told you North America is the Roman Empire. North America is Babylon the Great, man. These Edomites telling you this. These are all facts, man. These are all facts, man.
الامريكان يقتلون النساء ويحتقرون النساء ويقتلون الاطفال ويهينون الشيوخ ويقتلون الشباب. امريكا بهدفها هي الارهاب. امريكا هي الارهاب. الارهاب الامريكي المجلسي الحقيقي.
Come on, fire.
We're striking with greater effectiveness and
greater range. More and more weapons can hit moving targets.
The weapons that are being used today have a degree of precision that no one ever dreamt of.
This will be a campaign unlike any other in history. A campaign characterized by the employment of precise munitions on a scale never before seen. We are trying to create a world government. How is that different from what the Assyrians tried to do? How is that different from what the Babylonians attempted to do?
It ain't no different.
Chaldeans. How is that different from what Greece, what Rome? I mean, how is it different from any great empire? It was the same ideology.
What if our foreign policy of the past century is deeply flawed and has not served our national security interests? What if we wake up one day and realize that the terrorist threat is a predictable consequence of our meddling in the affairs of others and has nothing to do with us being free and prosperous? What if occupying countries like Iraq and Afghanistan and bombing Pakistan is directly related to the hatred directed toward us? What if conservatives who preach small government wake up and realize that our interventionist foreign policy provides the greatest incentive to expand the government? What if conservatives understood once again that their only logical position is to reject military intervention and managing an empire throughout the world? What if the American people woke up and understood that the official reasons for going to war are almost always based on lies and promoted by war propaganda in order to serve special interests? What if we as a nation came to realize that the quest for empire eventually destroys all great nations? What if war and preparation for war is a racket serving the special interests? What if Christianity actually teaches peace and not prevented wars of aggression? What if diplomacy is found to be superior to bombs and bribes in protecting America? What happens if my concerns are completely unfounded? Nothing. What happens if my concerns are justified and ignored? Nothing good. And I yield back the balance of my time.
Hey, so Lord willing, that was edifying. Gotta give our praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Qurash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, who rule well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the arguing, pushing this truth through the four winds of the earth, waking up the hope for the leg. Shalom to the outward for our listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming to another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. Listen, man, Babylon the Great, virgin daughter of Babylon, is North America, man. Okay? The great melting pot, man. The heart that sits on many waters. Okay? It's North America, man. The Edomites just told you, hey, this is a good video. It's an hour and 48 minutes long. And it's titled Babylon USA Official Full Film. Listen, man. Watch this, man. It's very edifying, man. Because these Edomites is telling you the straight truth, man. Because they know that North America is the Roman Empire revived, man. That fatal wound of the beast that was healed, man. Okay? North America is the Roman Empire. It's Babylon the Great. Hey, thus saith the Lord, thus saith the scriptures, man. And these Edomites know the truth. It's these bugged out Jake that don't want to accept this, man. But Esau is telling you, your slave master is telling you that you are living in Babylon the Great, man. Which ought to be destroyed. Shalom.